Hi, welcome or welcome back. This is the Nubian Review where we talk about books and all bookish content. I want to just jump in right quick and share some books that I have either read on a regular basis around the holidays, towards the end of the year. And ironically, they're not Christmas themed, although it reminds me of, you know, the year as it comes to a close, and then a book that I will be reading for this holiday. I'm not really big on holiday esque themes, although, I love looking at holiday rec videos. I more or less participate in some of the holiday reads, and look at it through other booktubers. So let me stop the ranting. This year, as I've done for a couple of years now, I did participate in Christmas in July. Christmas in July is where um, booktubers, they give like Christmas in July recs, and um, either it is a movie or book. So this will be, I think, my second year participating. So it was really, it was pleasant. So I try not to, you know, put too much on my plate when it comes to reading theme like movies. I mean, theme like books and stuff like that for the holidays, because I know, yeah, excuse me, I have cat fur in my midst. I'm sorry, I had cat fur in my mouth, but I had to get away. But anyway, so let me get to these books. Um, so like I said, I do like a Christmas in July theme, and I would have like several books, but I will only read like maybe one or two, because I reserve those for like maybe around this time of the year where I may choose a book or two and read it, during the holidays. But let me get to these recs. So this year for my Christmas in July, well, let me start off with the books that I've read for Christmas in July, and then I will introduce the book that I'll be reading for this year for Christmas in July, and then I will share with you a couple of books that I read or that I go through um, at least once a year around this time of year, because it just reminds me of the end of the year. So let's get into it. So, Mary Clark Higgins, All Through the Night. This is actually a suspense. I love Mary Clark Higgins. I have one of her other books that I may be reading as well um, for this season, but I may not be showcasing it here. But yeah, so this book is about a foster child who, it's been a while, you guys, who she was left on the church stairs by her mom, if I can remember. And then she was adopted. No, she wasn't adopted. The guy who robbed the church had um, somehow falsely claimed to be her father, to, for an alibi. And um, when they got to the church, they did not find the basket, because the mom, she called the church and told, I guess, the parishioner that, hey, I left a child. There's a child in the basket on the church stairs. When they got there, the child was never there. So it's kind of like a mystery. It's really good. It's short too. So there's there's two things in one that's in this book. But Mary Clark Higgins is known for mixing it up, and so yeah, this is a pretty good read. I'm surprised they don't have a Hallmark movie on this one. Let's get to the next one. Once again, I had to pause because I saw mischief brewing. Okay, let me try to see. So the next one is Snowball's Christmas. Now, what I like about this read is that the story is told through the eyes of a cat, Snowball. Snowball is a um, Snowball is the cat of the. It's like a Airbnb, a B&B, a bed and breakfast, and the owners are getting older, and Snowball is kind of like, um, I don't know, like at how the author Kristen has how she wrote about the cat. It seemed like the cat was almost human, but you know what they say, cats, they have these senses where they know, you know, what's going on. So the nephew of the owner returns to help out, but the only goal for him is to sell the B&B, you know, to sell the B&B and, you know, like and convert it into something else. I'm gonna have to continue because, you know, the cat energy in the house is real. So it is up to Snowball to somehow let the owner know what's going on. And so I can't tell you more than that. This was a good book. This was a very this was smartly written. But yeah, the cat is the main character, and it is funny. It is heartwarming, and this was a great Christmas in July book. Unexpected read. I read it slowly. Like I started in July, but I didn't finish in July. But I did finish it. And this was one of those. This was one of those books that I will pick up. You know, like when I'm just around the house, and I would, you know, just sit down and just not intentionally read, but just like, you know what, let me finish. You know, read a couple more pages in this book. But this was definitely a good read. I recommend this one. So now let's get into the book that I am choosing to read for this holiday season. Only one or two because I have a laundry list of books that I don't need to get to them, but I want to try to, you know, get some books off of my 25 or 2025 challenge. And so I am still reading those books. And they are heavier topics, but I do want to, you know, like, you know, progress along with that. And then also, I did a 10 before the end, and I only read, I think, two books on that one. And so that video will be coming up after this one. However, the book I chosen for the season is Christmas in Evergreen, Tidings of Joy. Now, I got this one, Nessie Nagel. I got this one because it said it was based off a Hallmark series. I love watching Hallmark. You know, I have this thing where I would sit with my mom, and we will watch Christmas movies, or just watch movies in particular, but particularly Christmas movies. And so she does Christmas in July with me as well. It's so when it said Hallmark, I said, you know what, this would be a good book right here. I can't wait to delve into this, sit down one quiet evening, if I ever have a quiet evening, but an evening, and just start reading this book right here. Now, the two books that I have been rotating in my book of books for the longest. Just a minute, you guys. I'm going to apologize right now because you guys are going to see so many glitches in this recording because the time I'm recording, it is highly active in my house. Most likely voted to need coffee. Yeah. My coffee, because I'm in the process of like eliminating sugar out of my diet. I don't use like regular granulated sugar. I use either like the raw sugar or I use honey in my coffee, and I haven't used the raw sugar and I don't know how long. So this serving of coffee has honey in it. Um, yeah, so it's pretty good, you guys. Mm. I don't know where they came from, but let me get back to this. So these are books that have been rotating through every season. Well, at the end of the season of every year. And these are books that, one, I'm highly passionate about. And I think I'm going to do a community reading on this one. By the way, if you're interested, I am doing a community read on Bearing the Cross. The readings are in 30-minute segments. So if you are interested, look for Bearing the Cross. I may have all of them under community reads because that is something that I want to start doing with the BookTube community. So I just thought I will plug that right quick. But the book that I am talking about on this video is The Sum of Us, What Racism Costs Everyone and How We Can Prosper Together. Heather McGhee. If you are a follower of this channel and you have seen quite a few of my videos, I'm going to pause 1 second, you guys, again. I think I'm going to have to hurry up because they are wanting my attention. So let me hurry up. So this book, as you can see, it has a hole in it on the cover. This is how much I read through this book on a regular basis. Okay. I'm going to apologize because this video is going to be so glitchy because I'm constantly having to talk to my cats like they're humans. But so Heather McGhee has geniusly drawn an argument based off of facts that, you know, when white people in particular try to, how can I say, we're going to start with this. Whiteness is a construct, okay? Race is a construct. So but for the purpose of the book, when white people try to harm a group of people or marginalize people, it affects everybody. And that is the gist of the book. She gives great examples. She talks about her experience, and it's a lot of data, but it's not, how can I say, it's written in layman's terms, although she is a scholar. I love this book. I always talk about this book, and I think this is going to be on my community read tab. But let me know if you guys are interested in doing a live community read on this book, because I would like to discuss. This is like one of the books, one of my top 5 books that I would like to use as a community read. Last but not least, so yeah, getting back to this one, I had to pause it because, yeah. Last but not least, well, to conclude this one, if you guys are interested in being part of a live community read of this book, let me know. Just let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Okay, so the last one, and last but not least, and this is one of my favorite books of all times, Roots, The Saga of American Family, Alex Haley. At one point in my life, I will pick up this book every single year to read around Christmas. And I am back. I don't know how this video is going to come across. I just been having a challenge with my cats because they are wanting my time. So let me hurry up. So every year I've read this book for the longest. Now, recently, because I didn't read it last year, I have not been able to sit down and read the book like I wanted to. I think because it only takes me, I read this book so many times before. As you all can see, the jacket is tattered and everything. I have highlighted so many things in the book. Will I get to it this year? I don't know. If I do, I will definitely have it on my my reading wrap-ups. But this has Alex Haley writes the story. Now, originally this was considered a nonfiction piece of work. I still consider it a nonfiction piece of work. There has been some controversy in the past about the author's legitimacy of some of the facts. However, it is a great book. He tells his mother's side of the story in Roots. And then there's another book, Queen, that was written after the movie adaptation, after the movie. So I think I'm going to be reading Queen in 2026. So I may read Roots probably earlier in the year or late in the year. It only takes a couple of days for me to read this book at this point because basically my eyes are just glossing over um, what I've read 100 times before, but I love this book. So I do recommend you read Roots. I did a reading with my homeschool group like years ago on Roots, and so I can also have this as a community read, you guys, if you want to read this. This has a lot to talk about legacy, like tribal experiences, and a coming of age of a family who ancestors were enslaved and brought here to America. I still have a guess, you guys, and brought here to America against their will. And so it tells the story of their triumph. Now, the thing about the book is that you don't get that until like maybe after 100 pages in, because Haley Dutz did such an excellent job talking about the origins of his ancestors. It is beautifully written. I honestly encourage anybody, if they want to read a story on legacy and survival, is rich in detail. Hands down, Roots. Okay, so in saying that, like, this video shouldn't have been this long, but I kept losing my train of thought because of everything that's going on around me. So yeah, I will see you in my next video. So hopefully some of these recommendations helped, and hopefully, you know, you'll find a book in your next reading chapter of your life to delve into. So I will see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.